Alright, what is going on, everyone? Here is the Dbacks Season 3 stat update. Where's my controller? There it is. This is the final stat update ever, because this is the last season of the Dbacks franchise. So, whoops. We finished 104 and 58, top team in the MLB. Rankings-wise, I believe we had the best record. Yeah, we'll look at all the divisions, though. The Dodgers finished 4.5 games back. It got close at the end. Went on a lot of losing. We lost 2 this week, but it was really at the end they started to get back in it. They swept us. We lost 6 in a row toward the end of the season. That was ridiculous, man. But anyway, we're going to go look at the standings. The Dodgers finished 4.5 games out. Padres, actually, I haven't simmed all the games yet. Alright. Padres finish 80 and 82, Giants 77 and 85, and the Rockies 36 games out. That's ridiculous. That's really mostly a testament of how great we were. They finished 36 games out of the division and only won 68 games. Wild card looks like this. Actually, believe. Oh yeah, these two are fighting for the NL Central crown. Now, I've already played the playoffs. This is just a formal stats update video. I'm recording this after I've even recorded the last game of the series. And the Brewers ended up winning the division the first time. I guess that's not how it turned out this time. I guess my save got screwed up or something. But we'll just say the Brewers won the division. Well, actually, we'll make it official. Where are they? I went around the long way. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Actually, that was what happened. I gotta go back in now. I have like a ton of saves for this. Most of those saves below were either early Mariners because I'm a couple games in further and I made a few trades, or early Diamondbacks. I think I have one that even goes back to the first season. But yeah, the Reds ended up winning the division. In my version of it, I simmed through the shit. Now I gotta go back. Oi. I could have swore that I simmed through the end. Why I have one with the Padres. I think it was a fantasy draft I just randomly did one day. Yeah, because I had Paul Konerko playing third base in that. Alright. I could have swore I simmed through the end of all these games. Oh yeah, I simmed this Cincy game. Where's the Brewers game? Do they even play? Now I got it. I'm worried. Okay, they do. Played the Padres. Alright, so they're going to wild card game, which is good because that's what ended up happening. Oh, actually, well, I don't know what. I'm just gonna keep going. The Diamondbacks, we won the division. Wild card looked like that. East Nationals were ahead of us in the standings for most of the year, but they really tailed off at the end. They beasted in their division. Really shitty division. Just like it will be in a couple years in real life, I think. But Central looks like this. The way I had the playoffs play out, the Reds won the division, and the Brewers here were the wild card team because we played against them. They beat the Dodgers in the wild card game. Pirates finished a game out. Cardinals 6 games back, and the Cubs 12 games out. All very competitive in that division, though. As for the AL, the Tampa Bay Rays win the division without half their team because we stole all their best players except for Longo, pretty much. Blue Jays, wild card. Red Sox didn't make it after they were like the best. Weren't they like one of the best teams in the league last year? Yankees went just below 500, which is surprising because if you look at their roster, they're bad. And the third overall Orioles failed to make the playoffs. Looks like they were really bad. I'll show you the Yankees roster real quick. That is terrible. Their pitching's good. They have 5 good pitchers, I think. but I'm not gonna go in deeper into that. But their bullpen sucks, and then they can't do anything like hitting wise either. Mike Zunino had his first good year, really, as a hitter, and it wasn't even too impressive. Matt Adams is their starting first baseman, and he's a career 266 hitter, and they somehow got Dominic Smith. I guess it must have been the 5 draft or something. I don't know. And then here's their starting second baseman. Here's their starting third baseman, I think. Oh, A-Rod must have played. Yeah, and he hit 207. Nolan Fontana had 600 at-bats. This offense was terrible. Brett Gardner was probably their best hitter. Actually, this guy was pretty good, too, in limited at-bats. Clint Frazier started, like, almost all year for them in center field. And, of course, wasn't that good. Slade Heathcott was actually pretty good, though. And Carlos Beltran was probably their second best hitter. Sorry was also playing some time too. But yeah, their roster sucks. I don't know why I'm even talking about them. The Central had the White Sox winning, only 10 games above 500. Tigers were the worst team in the MLB for the first like 5 months of this franchise, and it looks like they started to turn it around. The Mariners won in the West, and it looks like the Angels are also going to go to the playoffs. The Athletics, a year removed from the AL crown, will not be in the playoffs. Rangers and Astros both well out of the division, but still had pretty decent years for teams like of their caliber as well. The Astros more so than the Rangers. And then this is how the wild card finished out. The worst team in the league was Minnesota. Isn't that funny? Where's I don't remember what I was thinking of. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking of. So that's standings. We're gonna go with, I guess, league leaders. Actually, no, we'll go with player stats first. All right, so we'll just go in order of this. Paul Goldschmidt was the NL Triple Crown winner this year. He had a 333 average, 206 for 619 with 120 runs scored, which also led the league. 43 doubles. My controller keeps screwing up. I apologize. And now I just did that. 6 triples, 47 home runs, and 115 RBI with 11 stolen bases. 78 walks, 147 strikeouts, a 649 slugging, a 408 OBP, 1057 OPS, which is ridiculous. 402 total bases. And that's just all the other stats. He did commit 16 errors, which was surprising. Look at Jason Hayward committed 0. He's got to be at least in the talking for a Gold Glove. Paul Goldschmidt destroyed from both sides of the plate, too. It wasn't like he was just really good versus one. It hit 293 with runners in scoring position. Better on the road than at home. Okay, we're not going to go that deep into all. We're going to go with their basic stats. Norichika Aoki in limited playing time for our team. I know that it was unfortunately that you didn't get to see him at all before the playoffs, and you're not even going to see the NLDS, which I'll recap, I guess, later. So I don't know how many of these games he actually played with us, but he hit 262 overall with 23 doubles, 6 triples, 12 homers, 60 RBI, and 20 stolen bases. And he walked almost as much as he struck out. Will Myers hit 270 with 19 doubles, 31 homers, and 104 RBI. He would be. We had 3 people hit 30 or more home runs. 104 RBI, 8 stolen bases. He struck out 125 times, 460 slugging, 314 OBP, 774 OPS. So it doesn't look like it's that good, but that's just because his OBP. He doesn't even walk a lot, as you see. Hayward, 279, 147 for 527, 32 doubles, 31 home runs, 93 RBI. I believe that would be good enough for third on the team. With 7 stolen bases, 51 walks, 123 strikeouts, a 893 OPS. He had 15 outfield assists, did that say? Yeah, 15 outfield assists. Norichika Aoki had 17. Manny Machado, the beast, went 280 this year with 23 doubles, 18 homers, 67 RBI, 11 stolen bases. Didn't walk too much. That means his OPS is going to be lower, 757. David Wright really turned it around and ended up hitting 279 for us with 31 doubles, 20 home runs, 72 RBI, 17 stolen bases, 64 walks, and 119 strikeouts, 358 OBP, and 821 OPS. Anthony Rendon continues to be the one player on this team who just hasn't quite put it together since his second year. Well, I guess it's because our team has got more talented. He hasn't really. His batting average has gone up to what it more so was the year before this franchise started, but he's always going to serve as like a defensive player for us. He's a really good defender. 261 average, 23 doubles, 13 home runs, 62 RBI, 10 stolen bases, and a 326 OBP. What I want to see is his fielding percentage, 975. It's pretty good. The way this game sims, there's a lot more errors. Miguel Montero hit 246, which is almost 100 points lower than he hit last year. Almost. It's like 88 points less, I think. Quick math. It's a lot less than he hit even in the first year of his franchise. So definitely a step back for Miguel Montero, but the team around him performed. We didn't even have as good a year as last year, and I feel like this team was better than last year's team. But again, we might have missed Shuck or something. I don't know. 246 average with 21 doubles, 9 home runs, not even in double digits. 47 RBI, no stolen bases, obviously. 343 OBP though. He does walk quite a bit, and I believe that's all our starters. Yeah, that's all our starters. Down into the guys who only played parts of the season for us. We got Chris Nelson, who hit 248 off the bench with 11 doubles and 26 runs batted in. Didn't walk a lot. Tony Campana was our starting left fielder for a little bit, but his average really dipped. He was hitting like well over 300 when Chuck went down, so I decided to put him in, but his average really went down, so I decided to go out and acquire Norichika Aoki. He, whoops. Campana at 232 with 8 doubles and 16 runs batted in with 12 stolen bases, so he would have been useful as like a pinch runner or something. JB Shuck had a really bad year for him, considering he batted near 300 the other 3 years of his career. And he really didn't perform up to standards this year before going down with a dislocated ankle after not even half of the season. So he hit 247 with 11 doubles, 4 home runs, and 18 RBI. Never really a big contact guy. And his stolen bases have really gone up every year. I believe he only had 9 the year before, or 11 the year before the whole year, and he had 13 this year. Walked 26 times. He doesn't strike out a whole lot either. 319 OBP. And pretty good fielder. Juan Francisco, our other utility man, infield and outfielder, hit 266 with 10 doubles, 5 home runs, 23 RBI. I thought he'd have a lot more home runs than that, honestly, but his power versus lefties and his contact versus everyone just wouldn't enable him to, I guess, something like that. Mike Morse hit 193, really bad. 5 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 RBI. Yeah, it was a really bad year for him, and he only walked 3 times, and he had 88 at bats. So very disappointed. Also disappointed in Ryan Domit, but it was a big improvement over who we had last year at catcher, which was Tuffy Gosawish. Who had a pretty good first year but didn't really do anything after that. Dolman was okay. At points he had started when Miguel Montero was, he went down with like knee tendonitis or something. Like, it wasn't a huge injury, but he was out for a couple weeks, and Dolman stepped in. That's why he has a few more games than normal, because Miguel Montero is usually a pretty durable catcher. 5 homers, 19 RBI. And AJ Pollock started. We had this 4th outfielder issue like all year. AJ Pollock was the first guy we had up. Then we had Tony Campana, and we had Daniel Nava up in the majors for a little bit. But he AJ Pollock was very disappointing. He went 8 for 47 with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. So half of his hits were extra base hits. It looks like 5 RBI, 2 balls, and 204 OBP. Nava was just as bad, if not worse. He was 4 for 24 with a double, a home run, and it was his only RBI as well. And he walked 1 more time, and he didn't strike out as much. Scooter Gennett was a September call-up, as well as the rest of these guys. He hit 308, went 4 for 13 with 2 doubles and 3 RBI. Didi Gregorius was 4 for 30. He was playing a lot toward the end of the season because I was resting Machado sometimes. He had no doubles but a home run, 6 RBI. He did pretty good, I guess. Christian Betancourt was up at the end of the year too. He went 3 for 10 with 2 runs scored. I played a game with him actually, but it got erased. He had an RBI. I got that RBI with him, as well as Luis Figueroa started that game. He went 1 for 1 with, I believe, a home run. Yeah, and he also had a stolen base. I guess he was using a pinch runner. I don't really know how. I guess he must have appeared as a pinch runner often. And this guy was just sitting on my bench. He has had at bats before. There was a game I was screwing around with last year. Pitching, we'll go by ERA. We'll go by wins. Salazar surprisingly won an award that I didn't think he would, but he went 19-8 with a 2.44 ERA. Definitely not nearly as good as his 20-0 season last year, but considering he started out really bad and had an ERA over 5 through 2 months, that was a very solid year from him. And he's now 32 games above 500 lifetime, and his career ERA is almost under 2.5, which is ridiculous. I don't know who our ace is anymore after his performance in the last 2 years. He might challenge Price. Price, however, also had an excellent year. He went 15-6 with a 2.89 ERA. Well, we'll go through the whole thing. 5 shutouts. Danny Salazar. Oh, I almost completely forgot about this. Where is it? San Diego, I believe it was. Danny Salazar threw a no-hitter against the San Diego Padres. He did go the full 9, obviously. No hits, no runs, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts. So it was a lot like Edwin Jackson's no-hitter, from what I'm assuming, where it was more so just he didn't allow hits, but it was still not a great start for him. I mean, obviously he threw a no-hitter, but the point's trying to come across, and I'm not getting it across the way I wanted to, but whatever. And then we got what was it? 5 shutouts for Danny Salazar, 5 complete games. 224 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 61 earned runs, 12 homers, only walked 69, and got 267 strikeouts, 1.08 WHIP. Price 15-6, another great year for him. He didn't have such a great first year, but the other 2 have been absolutely dominant, including his MVP year last year. 15-6, 2.89 ERA, 22 quality starts, a shutout, 208 in the 3rd innings pitched, 67 earned runs, 20 homers given up, and 58 walks to 202 strikeouts. A very good ratio. 1.24 WHIP. Archie Bradley kind of got beat up this year in terms of ERA, but he had a really good year. He was 15-9, had the same number of quality starts as Price, although they didn't make as many starts because these 2 each made a start in the last 1 day of the season. Archie Bradley did have a shutout this year, went 204 and 2/3, and had 79 earned runs. He had a lot more walks than the other guys, but he had more strikeouts than Price, 1.23 WHIP, which was also better than Price's. Our 4th starter, CC. I'll go back to Archie Bradley for a second, actually. He was one person I was looking forward to using the most in this franchise, and although he wasn't nearly as good as he's going to be in this year, or even as he was the year before, I'm really looking forward to him in his career as a whole. If I ever decide to pick this up again, I'm really looking forward to using him more, because I do feel like I didn't get to showcase him enough throughout this franchise. CC, who we traded for earlier this year, had a really good year for someone who is coming off a 6-15 season. He didn't quite even get to 250 wins, and that does kind of suck because he was at one time supposed to get to 500 or 300 career wins, but he will not. As he will not. Well, 1, he's going to retire, I guarantee it, this offseason, and 2, we're not playing another year, so. 19 quality starts, which is good because he's 35. 3 shutouts, 6 complete games, which is good enough for second on the team. He also has the highest stamina, I believe. Oh no, Price does. Never mind. 210 and 2/3, workhorse. 77 earned runs, 24 home runs given up, 71 walks, 180 strikeouts, 1.29 WHIP. Anthony DeSclafani was really a revelation down the stretch. We called him up after dumping Michael Bolsinger, designated him for an assignment. I called him up over Chauncey Newell. Well, I called him up over Herman Wiseman was my first option because I realized Herman Wiseman has a really high. I don't know if he's gonna be on here. Yeah, he has really high hits, but everything else kind of sucks and his control's bad. So I called him up definitely over him, and then it was down to him and Chauncey Newell. And the thing that really like took me away from that is I didn't think Chauncey Newell, with his young age, was good enough to solidify us down the stretch for a playoff hunt kind of thing. Like I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I felt like Desclafani was more MLB ready, more ready to help us out, even though his overall is actually lower. He did get up to 8 potential at the end of the year too. He got a big potential boost. He went 8-2 with an ERA below 3. Didn't have that many quality starts actually. It was only 9 for 16. He had 3 complete games out of 16 starts, so 3 shutouts too. 105 and a third, 35 earned runs, 9 homers. The only thing is he's not a good strikeout pitcher, 54 Ks per 9, and he also does walk quite a bit. We got a 1.02 WHIP. Now we're getting to the bullpen. Aaron Crow went 7-4 with a 3.12 ERA, 3 blown saves, but out of 66 appearances is very good. 9 holds, which actually we'll go by holds, and we'll start over. Kelvin Herrera, who I believe also led our team in appearances, went 1-1 with a 2.54. Another great year. That trade really worked out for us in the end. 4 blown saves, but again out of 76 appearances. 34 holds, which led the team. 74 and a third innings pitched. 21 earned runs, 5 home runs, 23 walks, and 77 strikeouts. Brandon Kinsler, this is running really long too. Brandon Kinsler was a midseason acquisition and not nearly as good as when we acquired him, but still great. 1 blown save, 23 holds, 70 innings flat, 56 hits, 18 earned runs, 9 homers, 15 walks, 57 strikeouts, a 1.01 WHIP. Cesar Ramos really struggled in the first part of the year, but he really picked it up at the end. Matt Stites looks like he sucked at the end of the year. Our bullpen was not nearly. I think like that was one of the big things that made us not as good this year. Is our bullpen was not as good as it was last year, not by a long shot. 5-2 with a 3.68 ERA, 2 blown saves, 12 holds, 58 and 2/3, 24 earned runs, 8 homers, 21 walks, 37 strikeouts. Matt Stites was really actually good to start out the year and then really fell off at the end. It looks like 265 opponent average. He had a 4.20 ERA with a 7-6 record. He got a lot of decisions because he actually only had 2 blown saves. 12 holds, 75 innings pitched, 35 earned runs, 9 homers, 21 walks, 64 strikeouts, and Aaron Crow went 7-4 with a 3.12. 3 blown saves, 9 holds, 78 innings flat, 61 hits, 27 earned runs, 9 homers, 19 walks, and 82 strikeouts. Looks like he led the bullpen. And Tom Gorzolani had only 17 games. Josh Colmenter should be in here too. ZRA only went to that at the end of the season because I was pitching with him against the Dodgers, and he gave up like a grand slam to Juan Uribe. Otherwise, his ERA would have been like 3.5 or something like that. I think it was beforehand. He had 1 blown save, 3 holds, 20 innings pitched, 9 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 walks, 16 strikeouts. Solid year. This guy was a September call-up. Let's see how they batted. So Danny Salazar at a 200 average, 14 for 70 with a double and 2 RBI. CC Sabathia was our best hitting pitcher. He had 1 home run, 6 RBI. David Price looks like he hit his first career home run. And Archie Bradley had 7 RBI, which is good enough for best among pitchers. Average-wise, it was Salazar, Sabathia, which I'm surprised because Sabathia actually has pretty good hitting ratings for a pitcher. Desclafani, then Price, then Bradley. Even though Bradley led our team in RBI, he did not hit the best. This video is going to be divided into 2, I guarantee. So as you can see now, no hitters thrown is up to 3. I believe that we also have a strikeout champion because I think the first 4 were Randy Johnson, and I think it ruined. If you looked correctly, you would see who the never mind. Batting average, we led the league again. Actually, I don't think we led the league last year. We scored the most runs. Actually, it was a really close race this year between us and Seattle. We had the most hits. Doubles, we were 13th. Triples, 6th, tied with Jason Hayward at 8, actually. I didn't notice that earlier. We had the most home runs with 209. Paul Goldschmidt with nearly 50 of them. Actually, I think it was... oh, yeah, we were first for runs batted in as well. But I think overall Seattle would have the better run scoring year because they didn't need to hit as many home runs for as much offense as we did. Stolen bases were 7th, but we were also like 28th in caught stealing. We got caught stealing all the time. We were really bad stolen base percentage. 26, only at 69%. Walks, we were a lot worse than we were last year. I think we were like top 3 last year. Paul Goldschmidt drew 78, and several others had more than 60. And strikeouts, we were bad striking out this year. A lot of strikeouts compared to last year again. 12th, tied with the Colorado Rockies. Slugging first, OBP first, total bases first by almost 100. Plate appearances, that's not really important. Grounded and double plays, 12th. I'm just showing all this stuff because why not? Assists was 14, 11, 15th. Putouts total was 7th. Errors, we're actually not a good fielding team despite our like best fielding ranking. Yeah, we're 22nd in errors. Fielding percentage again is going to be really low, 22nd. ERA, team ERA, we're actually 3rd, and we weren't even best in the NL this year. So yeah, definitely a step back from last year in terms of the whole team, especially the pitching staff and the bullpen. Actually, I thought this was really funny when I saw this. The Toronto Blue Jays were the best ERA team in the MLB. And I believe, if I recall correctly, no, Jared Weaver actually beat him out at the end. I remember checking like halfway through the year, and Brandon Morrow had like an ERA just above 2, and it was like 1st in the AL. They also had the most complete games. We're somewhere up here. Yeah, we're tied for 6th with like 5 other teams. Shutouts, we were 2nd behind the Blue Jays. Salazar at 5. Saves, we were 4th. Oh, I didn't check Addison Reed's stats. Whoops. I'll go check that in a second. Blown saves, well, actually, we can probably just check right here. Addison Reed only blew 7 saves. Really good, considering he blew like 12 last year and almost got replaced as closer during the playoffs. If not actually getting, he might have actually gotten replaced. Hits allowed, we were 3rd. Runs allowed, 3rd. Earned runs, 2nd. Home runs allowed, 9th or 8th. We were 1st last year, so again, definitely a step back. Walks allowed, again, we were like 1st or 2nd last year, I'm pretty sure, so 10th is not that good. 1402 strikeouts, that's very good. A lot better than we were last year, I think. No, the first year was when we sucked getting strike. We couldn't get strikeouts worth crap, and then we were top 2, I believe, last year. Look at Aaron Sanchez and Marcus Stroman had over 500 strikeouts combined. That's quite the combo for them. Win percentage tops. All right. Awards. Paul Goldschmidt's the MVP. Yeah, I believe I said earlier also the Triple Crown winner. Danny Salazar won the Cy Young Award. Well, he hasn't officially won it yet, but he will win the Cy Young Award. Beast, like 96 Ks per 9. It's got to be tops. Batting title went to Paul Goldschmidt. Obviously, he won the Triple Crown. Delivery Man of the Year. You can see Addison Reed's stats here. 52 saves, only 7 blown. He had 10 last year. A 1.82 ERA. Stepped it up with the strikeouts. I believe he had more innings pitched, though. How did Glenn Perkins finish? They must do it by total saves. Rookie of the Year ended up going to actually Zach Petrick because I think they do it by wins. He had a 4.57 ERA. I would have given it to Mark Appel. And Maikel Franco actually broke into the league with the Atlanta Braves. Which I thought was interesting. Hank Aaron Award. If Oscar Taveras had not gone down with injury, come back and sucked, he would have won the. He had like a 3.42 average at the All-Star break, I'm pretty sure. And then he got injured, and Paul Goldschmidt just went on a tear. Even though he was already on a tear, I guess technically, he went on a tear and won the Hank Aaron. And when Oscar Taveras came back, obviously not nearly as good as he was beforehand. Gold Glove, I don't think we won any of these. Yeah, we did not win any of those, I think. I thought that Machado might have gotten one. Oh, whoops. And looks like Hayward actually came in 2nd for Gold Glove in center field to Carlos Gomez. Rafael Ortega, that's like his... Oh no, he had 100 fielding percentage for a while. Silver Sluggers, we should have a few of these. Buster Posey, catcher. Goldschmidt. David Wright finished second here. He would have finished first if he had a few more hits. It didn't start out the year hitting 220. Hayward finished, I guess, fourth in outfield. Silver Sluggers. And we'll go league leaders. We'll do hitting first. Paul Goldschmidt led the league. No one else up there. Actually, that means, wow, our team was actually very bad hitting. Our overall batting average was high, but individually not very good. Hits, Paul Goldschmidt led the league. At bats, Paul Goldschmidt was 7th. Norichika Aoki was 8th, but he did split time. 43 doubles was actually Paul Goldschmidt's first year not leading the league, I'm pretty sure. As well as Jason Hayward 6th in triples. Paul Goldschmidt first in home runs by only 7. It was a little bit closer than that for a while. But Hayward and Myers tied for 8th, hitting 31 each. RBI, Joey Votto just snuck above Will Myers. It was Paul Goldschmidt and Will Myers 1-2 for the longest time. But Jason Hayward's also tied for 10th with Oscar Taveras in that category. Runs scored, Paul Goldschmidt had that by quite a bit. Although Jason Hayward, David Wright, Norichika Aoki, and who else was in the top 20? No one. Will Myers 22nd though. Stolen bases, we're never going to have anyone up there. Well, Gregor Blanco ended up there this year. He had a really good year for them. Walks, this is Paul Goldschmidt's first year not leading the league in that category. He didn't have to, though, this year. He put the ball into play a lot more with his hitting, actually. He didn't walk nearly as much as before, but a lot of first basemen up there. And Dexter Fowler. Slugging percentage, Goldschmidt was the best by a lot, and Hayward was third. OPS, Paul Goldschmidt smoked that category completely. Jason Hayward was 5th with a 893, excuse me. Wins, Danny Salazar led the league, but Archie Bradley, David Price, and CC were all up there. And somewhere in here, maybe Desclafani. Yeah, I think he would have, no, he went 9-2 or 8-2, one of those. Losses, Tony Cingrani went 12-5, but was not good enough for any sort of real consideration. David Price was up there for that, but our pitchers get a lot of decisions. Saves, we got smoked. Sergio Romo was really up there for a lot of the year, and then kind of fell off, it looks like. What does he throw? Oh, he doesn't really throw a fastball. That makes more sense. Like, why is velocity so low? Anyway, Addison Reed really had a bounce back year. ERA leader was Danny Salazar, followed by Homer Bailey, and David Price is also 9th. I don't think Homer Bailey was even a playoff starter for them, though, when I played them. Oh. Home runs allowed, Salazar tied for the league lead. Shutouts. Strikeouts, he actually finished 2nd. He was leading for a while. And this is Kyle Zimmer's 2nd full year in the league, and he had a really good year for the Dodgers, so something to watch out for. If we had a future in this anyway. Bradley was up there at 8th. Complete games. Sabathia tied for the league lead with Garrett Cole and John Neese. Yeah, Neese is continuing to have solid numbers every year. And Garrett Cole's finally looks like reaching his peak. Innings pitched, Salazar was 2nd. Walks allowed. Actually, we don't have anyone up there. Whip. 6th was Danny Salazar, so no one really dominant. Like last year when Price was clearly not odds and ends, leaps and bounds above everyone else. I'm actually not going to end up splitting this video. The video kind of dropped frames after this, but basically what I was going to say was I don't have any footage of the NLDS, but we defeated the Milwaukee Brewers 3-0. Next episode coming out either tomorrow or Wednesday will be Game 1 of the NLCS versus the Cincinnati Reds. Thanks for watching this stat update. Hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for more.